So if you saw our video last week, you saw that Raelynn had a 24-hour EEG, but I actually wasn't able to show you all the footage from that because I didn't have Abby's footage from it yet. So I'm going to show you Abby's perspective on getting that 24-hour EEG. And then I also have the results from what we learned from that. So that'll be after Abby's footage. So here all that is right now.
We are arriving for 24-hour EEG. Just got a couple more to get in. And then will they come take these off like exactly 24 hours later?
Actually, it should be about exactly 24 hours, because what is it, like 10 a.m.? Yeah.
You get a little wrap over your head so they stay in place, hopefully, okay? Did you say bye to Dad? Did you hear Dad say bye? And you're smiling real big about it? Are you smiling real big? Yeah? That was good timing. Dad didn't see it, but I'll send him the video. I'll send him the video that you said bye. I threw away some already, but she brought in her meds and like, oh my goodness, that plus some meds in there, like 40 mils of meds, Raelynn, 40 mils of meds. So we're gonna pause your food for a bit and space them out. Are you almost ready for bed? You get a lot of bedtime meds. Mommy's holding your food, okay? And we'll do the sleepy ones last.
The next day.
Why are you smiling? Do you know we're going home? Do you know we got all your stuff and we're going home? Are you so happy about it? Yeah, we got some messy hair from that EEG stuff. You ready? Let's go home.
Eventually.
So this is what Raelynn's neurologist gave us in terms of analyzing the EEG and what we can learn from it. So it says, overall interpretation, this one-night EEG video study is abnormal for several reasons. Multiple electroclinical seizures, most consistent with generalized onset tonic seizures, brief tonic myoclonic seizure, and gelastic seizures consistent with active epilepsy. That's all stuff that we've known before. Going down to the section on seizures, it says things such as subtle seizures present as brief eye roll associated with 1 to 2 second diffuse attenuation twitch and without posterior predominant alpha. So basically that means all the times that we see her just do a really quick, brief twitch, we've kind of wondered if those were seizures, and they're confirming that yes, those are seizures. In terms of getting in the way of things, that doesn't really affect how she functions from day to day, but she still has those. Obvious electroclinical seizures consist of a sudden generalized delta frequency complex associated with vocalization and bilateral upper extremity extension, elevation, followed by posturing time locked with duration of the generalized attenuation. All that to say, basically when she extends her arms like this, those are obviously seizures also. A myoclonic jerk precedes posturing with some seizures. Not all seizures are recognized, and then it points out one of the times, the ones where we didn't see one, where she did have one, and those that are not are very subtle. So she has subtle seizures sometimes that we don't even recognize that she has. Seizures are precipitated by startle. So sometimes when she's startled, sometimes those are starting seizures. However, not all startles are clearly seizures, as all startles result in an attenuation of the background but lack the posterior alpha that is present during the definitive seizures. So that being said, we've wondered, like, when she's startled from noises and things, whether that triggers her to have a seizure. And it says sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Her being startled can be a trigger for her seizures, but not every time that she appears to be startled is it a seizure. So that's interesting. And that's something that we've talked about on this channel before. I know some of you have cerebral palsy and you get startled from various things. Apparently some of those might be seizures and some of them are not. And I think that varies from person to person. Seizures that are described within the patient event diary that include jumps and jerks and breath holding are all seizures. Raelynn's mother, Abby, also reported nystagmus as well as laughter. This was the interesting thing. Those clinical features are not consistently associated with Raelynn's clear electroclinical seizures. For example, Raelynn is often smiling before seizures and seldom smiles during a definitive seizure, but does occasionally smile within 2 seconds of the end of a seizure if she was smiling at onset. So basically, and this is something that we were kind of wondering going into all this, when she smiles, we wondered, is that a seizure? Is that a gelastic seizure? Because we know that gelastic seizures are a thing. Is that a seizure? How does she feel during that? Or is that an emotion that she's genuinely experiencing, or some combination thereof? And basically what they found was when Raelynn's smiling, there's no indication that she's having a seizure at that time. Now, sometimes she can smile and then it leads to a seizure, almost like the part of her brain that is experiencing pleasure then triggers a seizure. Or sometimes she has a seizure and then it leaves her in a good mood, like we've talked about before on this channel. But as far as the EEG, it doesn't recognize that she's having a seizure when she's smiling. So that being said, I think that's pretty cool. I mean, in that when she's smiling, we know with a high degree of certainty, not for sure, but we're pretty sure that she's experiencing genuine happiness when she's smiling. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool to know. Okay, all that being said, I'm going to show these on the screen real quick. Feel free to pause and look at the data yourself. If you see anything else that's interesting in the data, feel free to let me know. I thought that this study was really, really fascinating. I learned a lot. Not in this report, but just talking to her neurologist as well, we learned that she's not really having any tonic-clonic seizures anymore. All of her seizures are myoclonic, clonic. I think it did mention tonic in here at one point. But she's not having any of the large grand mal tonic-clonic seizures anymore. Even the ones that we thought were kind of heading in that direction, they're classified more as clonic seizures. So her VNS has definitely eliminated her tonic-clonic seizures, which, that's awesome. Now, what happens in the future? We have no idea. But I do know this. There's always hope. Never give up hope. God bless you guys. Take care. We'll see you next time.